We've got some
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And today, we're bringing them to you so you can take action immediately and start creating real content momentum.
If you'd like to learn more about how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Oh, yeah. Sweet. Lots of instruction, guys. There's homework to do. Go actually ahead and do it. All right, sweet. Have you ever heard of a game called Hollywood Squares? Supposedly one of the greatest game shows ever. Well, today's guest we met after he invited us to a game show inspired by Hollywood Squares. Now, we have never seen this game show, but in our humble opinion, today's guest game is way better. The name of the game, X and O's Game Show.
That is right, guys. We also must admit that we got about 99% of the questions wrong.
Totally.
Clearly, pop culture is not our strength.
Absolutely not.
Either way, today's guest is absolutely amazing. He is an innovator in the digital marketing space. The amount of relationships he has built in such a short time through his creative game show is nothing but genius.
His creative idea has allowed him to meet and grow close to some of his biggest heroes in the industry, not to mention that he is positioning himself as the expert as well. His specialty, content strategy, and unique content creation. Oh yeah, baby. This is going to be absolutely amazing.
Oh man, I love that we even type, oh yeah, baby, right there.
Yep.
Please welcome host of the X's and O's game show, founder of Micro Machine Media, and the Dr. Alan Grant of the internet, Mr. Jim Beard. Hey, welcome, Jim.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. You guys have the best openers, hands down.
Fonzie?
Immediately, big smile. Like I saw Steven Larson's too, and he was just like,
that's what we like to see, man. Big smile on you guys. Thank you so much, Jim.
Absolutely. We gotta get this thing started with good energy, and I'm glad we were able to nail it with you, man. And you deserve this and way more. So I appreciate you coming onto your show.
Look, full disclosure, full transparency here, Jim. Before the show today, I didn't have the energy, right? I was a little, down, one of those days. And then I was like, yo, we're bringing Jim into the show. As my brother hopped in Skype with you, I started doing my warm-ups. I was like, oh, I need the energy.
Gorilla mode.
And after the intro and after talking to you, I'm like, this is it. This is literally the high of my day. So excited to be here with you, man. So thank you so much.
Awesome, Jim. Let's get this thing started, man. Like,
I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Awesome. Sweet. So who's Jim, man? Because, we started getting all these messages on Facebook. We're like, you guys have to be on this guy's show. And it was like every single weekend we will get these messages and like, sweet, when is the show? Well, Saturday, 9:30 p.m. And I'm like, what? That's insane. It's awesome, but also insane. Like, I don't get it. But it was like always like super last minute for the guests, like for us getting the invite. And we're like, we really want to be here. How do we do this? So then we connected through Facebook. But I want the audience to get to know you, man. Like, you're obviously working on it. We'll dive into your game show, which is freaking awesome. But who's Jim? Like, what do you do now? Like, how do you get there?
Absolutely. Thank you guys again so much for having me on. I love the show. I love everything you guys are doing. I love that you guys are like the dynamic duo of content. I think you guys should have capes. I'm going to really push that. You guys need capes and you need it now. So
that's a great idea.
After the show. You guys got to have your own superhero shirts.
Absolutely.
What I come from is content creation for corporate world. Really, really boring. And I mean, it was cool because it was like computer graphics. You create imagery in a computer that's supposed to look so real of a car that you don't know the difference.
Yes.
So we do it for commercials, billboards, internet. I worked on a lot of stuff for Chevy.com, all the imagery on there. And it was cool for a while. And like after about 6 years, I got to the point where I was like, oh, this is kind of feels empty because you work your butt off for a month sometimes on a car. and then you deliver it and it gets handed off to the next person, and then someone else takes credit for your work and they get the awards and they get to see the reactions and they get the all that fulfillment. And I didn't think it mattered to me, but then after about 6 years it got to me, and then I decided, you know, in 9 more years I'll probably have enough of this. And I did. So 15 years total in the industry.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something different. I want to take this level of quality, this level of working on the corporate level, and take that to entrepreneurs and marketers and give them that spotlight. People that I believe in, and I believe in their impact and their message. And that's where Micro Machine Media started. And it was essentially like, okay, well, I want to simplify content for people, much in the same way you guys do. So I was letting them know, like, hey, I don't know why you guys are spending so much time on this. You don't have to. Like, if you just have this system in place, it's pretty much just you create your video and let the rest of the machine work.
Yeah.
And I got such a huge response from it that it was like, okay, maybe something's here. Much in the same way you guys do.
Absolutely.
And you guys do amazing, amazing work. And I'm so happy for you guys at your growth and just all the exposure you've gotten. I'm just tremendously excited for you guys. And I love seeing it because you're help spreading the same kind of message. And it's huge. Content doesn't have to be so damn hard. And it doesn't have to be such a pain.
Yeah.
And it can be fun.
That's
true.
true.
The video you guys are watching right now, these guys put so much energy into it. It's because it can be fun.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for those comments, especially for those listening, right? The audience that we might be changing some beliefs here and there, right? And that's the thing. Like, content doesn't, like you said, doesn't have to be hard. It can be a lot of fun. Yeah. You have a very unique to make it fun and effective too, for you and your business, which is very, very important. So, I'm like itching to like dive in. I know, Fonzie, you have a question in there.
I mean, first of all, I want to point out, if you see me here holding a pen, it's because I wrote down capes and superhero shirts. Because hey, we're gonna do that. You know, we're gonna do it
too.
Yeah,
you can even say Biz Bros if you want.
Oh, we're gonna make 3. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna be, you know, like, I don't know what group of 3 superheroes are there.
We need a 4th for
and I want video of you guys in the parking lot or your driveway just running around like this.
Yes, that'll be amazing. We need a green screen, and then we'll have some awesome content right there. You know, but my question mainly was, I mean, 15 years in an industry, that's a very long time, right? So what were some of the challenges of you transitioning from the corporate world to starting something on your own? You know, I'm sure a lot of people might relate to this because they might be stuck right now in an office, right? Or maybe at their home right now, since they kicked everybody out of their offices. And they might be thinking, what are the challenges I can expect? How can I move forward, right? Yeah. So I'm sure your story is going to inspire many.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was painful because I didn't do it right. So I started out the business and I was just like, all right, let's go out and sell. And it's just not the right idea. You go out there and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever, bye. And so you start messages and, you start relationships. And that's where I started getting traction, as to where I stopped trying to sell.
Yeah.
And I just started meeting people. And it comes up naturally. If you let it be natural, it will naturally come up. What do you do? Well, how did you get involved in this world? Why do we have 200 mutual friends? And
you are very popular, Jim. You're a very popular guy.
I'm very guilty of, like, if there's 200 or more mutual friends, I'll add you. Cause I got to do it quick. Because I got to fit it in where I can, because I'm still doing my messages. I'm talking to people all day long.
Yeah.
And so that was just kind of where it started. And that's where I started getting actual traction. Before that, I actually started opening up conversations the complete wrong way, the dirty car salesman way, to where it's like, hey, how's it going? Just want to let you know my name is Jim Beard and I work on content and I can help you with your content strategy if you find yourself in need at any point in the future. And they'd be like, unadded.
That's
and I'd be like, oh, what am I doing wrong?
Yep.
It's like, come on, you're not going to run into the middle of a mall. I mean, not even a mall, because that's where you sell stuff.
Yeah.
Like a festival, and just start being like, hey, I got this thing for sale, buy it.
Yeah.
Because that's obnoxious. You're there for a different reason. You're there to enjoy yourself. You're not there to be sold. So
Absolutely.
what do? You do what it's meant for. You be social, you know? And a big thing I never really paid attention to from Steve Larson that now I see like why he hits it home so hard is to publish. Publish is everything. And Steve yells it. Steve yells everything, but Steve Larson yells it, and it's still not loud enough.
Yep.
And it's made all of the difference for me, because me pre-publishing to me post-publishing is a completely different person and business.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I love that. And publishing can look very different for different people, right? I'm curious, why do you think? First that question, and then we'll go into a different one. But like, why do you think people don't, even though the message is out there from like very successful people every single day, go out and publish, go out and publish, go out. Why do you think people still resist publishing so much?
I think it's twofold in my opinion, and that is they're afraid to be on camera because they're going to be judged. And the second thing is they don't know what to talk about. So you're going to get on, it's going to be alive with just you watching your own video, one person watching, and it's going to be just you terrified. And that's what we build up in our minds. It's like, if I'm on video, I have to have something to say, and I have to have myself ready to go, cleaned up, prepared. And it's the exact opposite. In fact, people will leave you if it is that way in some occasions because it feels too salesy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Instead, but I promised myself in 2020 I made one of those New Year's resolutions that no one does. And I've never done one before. And it was action first, think later. Was my mantra for 2020. And then COVID happened, obviously, and everything amplified. But I just finally said, you know what? Just do it. If people make fun of you or whatever you built up in your mind is going to happen, fine. You know, let it just happen the way it will. If they give you crap about it, make a change. If no one's listening, make a change.
Yeah.
If people are getting interested and they're enjoying themselves, keep going.
Yeah.
And that was my mantra that has made everything happen. Is just imperfect action. Just do it.
Yeah.
And I'm still figuring out my voice, as I'm sure you guys are. 80 episodes deep. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Congrats on being the episode 80. Yeah, it's such a beautiful, beautiful number.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. Is like people think, okay, well, if you're on video and I like your stuff, you're already got it all figured out. It's like, no, we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, at a point that people perceive as being more polished, we still are like, I don't know if that worked. Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all guess and check.
Yeah.
And I think we're terrified to allow ourselves to fail. And failure is a good thing. Failure is the foundation of all success. And one of my favorite teachers ever, Larry Larson, he was an animation teacher of mine. And he told me, if you want to be truly successful, triple your failure rate. I don't know if he was the one that originated that, but it stuck with me forever.
Wow.
And it's something I've carried with me, is that you shouldn't view failure as a problem, as something to not have, because you'll learn more from your failures than you ever will from your successes. Without fail. So it's just just do it. And you're afraid that someone's going to say, you know, you're an imposter, you don't belong here, you shouldn't be doing this, you know, this is the wrong message, you know, who are you to get on this video? No one does that.
No one.
Literally no one. Terrified of doesn't happen. In fact, people embrace you in your journey and your message as you're figuring it out because they can relate to it. It gives them common ground. So it's been the foundation and the heart of everything I do.
Yeah.
Dude, that I love it. You hit on so many points here that we absolutely love to talk, you know. And at the end, it kind of reminds me of that meme of Shia LaBeouf where he's like, just do it. You know, it's like, oh, let's go. Yeah, it's the same thing. That's it. That's the attitude. It's like, just do it, right?
Yeah.
And you started with talking about just go out to sell, right? Instead of building relationships, then you know, kind of like discovered the value of building these relationships. And then we transition a little bit into publishing and being, you know, natural versus having all planned out and sounding all robotic and all that stuff. And it's funny because yesterday I was actually looking through Instagram stories and I had this friend that she recently got laid off of her job and she joined a MLM, right? I think it's something with the hair. I don't know the company, but she was doing an Instagram story, right? And
something with the hair.
I've never seen her speak on camera before. I know she posts stuff once in a while. She was doing like just picture Instagram stories. And I saw her jumping on live the other day on Instagram and do some hair stuff, right? And I go and I'm like, wow, that is awesome. You know, like I could tell on her voice that she was nervous. Obviously, first time she's jumping on camera. Yeah. But I'm like, hey, I know how it feels. This is absolutely amazing. Congrats. You know, that is the way to do it. And she's like, oh, do you have any feedback, right? Like, what, like, did it sound okay? Like, you know, all these false beliefs inside, like people might be judging me. And I was like, hey, no, like that is absolutely amazing. You know, it's even better that way than actually having planned out because people like to relate to human beings, not to robots, right? Yeah. And I don't know, it was a cool reminder that we all gotta start somewhere, right? Yeah. And the more we do it, we just get better and better and better. Like you said, if we want to be successful, we need to triple our failure rate. So just do it again. Just do it.
A couple points there, right? Like I think a lot of people are like you said, terrified of failure, but I think people are more terrified of the word failure because a couple interviews ago we talked about how we can reframe our brain from failure to samples, right? And how AI, right? The whole story with the chessboard and you know, AI took every failure as a sample and then they just like optimize their system. We are systems, right? Our head is a very smart system. So instead of framing it as failure, whatever, like name it however you want. But for us, I made a decision that I'm going to call it a sample. And if it's a positive sample, great. If it's a negative sample, I'll take feedback and then I improve so I can go out and execute. And just that reframing is going to allow you or give you permission if you need it. I'm on those that it doesn't matter how you call it. Just like take it as a win either way. But it might help some people to actually take action and move forward, right? So, you know, increase your samples. Try it out here, learn from there. And also, I see content and you being exposed on a camera as a relationship, right? You got to be yourself. And if you're running a business, you don't want to fake it in front of the camera because guess what? When things start to happen, when you get those customers, you start developing those relationships, they're going to see really who you are. And then there's going to be a disconnect between the message and you and the company. And that's when trouble starts to happen. So what we started to do, if people react a certain way with our content and they don't agree with us, that's fine. We just accept that they're not our ideal client. They're not the ideal person that we need to be working with. Guess what? Your message and the way that you are is going to attract people that you actually enjoy spending some time with, especially working with, right? So that's how basically on our end we've framed it. And, you know, you make a wonderful sample of that because we were able to develop this awesome relationship around the topic that we're passionate about, content and different original ways on how to multiply the message in for our clients, right? So super awesome. Absolutely. When I know we talked a little bit about the transition with your corporate after 15 years, how you pivoted and you're like, wow, that's a big change. Now, with starting your business, like what are some of those samples, right? What are some of those like stepping stones that you've seen internally with you, maybe creating your show that were a little bit challenging, and then how do you like overcome those?
Absolutely, and I'm still dealing with these challenges now. I mean, I just talked with you recently about some of the things I'm trying to streamline and make more efficient currently.
Yeah.
And I'm completely upfront about all that stuff because I want people to know about my journey. I want them to know that it matters to me. I genuinely care about the customer experience and about it being something truly meaningful.
Yeah.
And that means everything to me. And so when I started out, I made the mistake of hiring too fast. Because in my prior businesses, I never got help. And that was one of the biggest problems I had, was that I never reached out for help. And this time around, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it different this time. I'm going to get help right away.
Yeah.
That was a problem because I didn't allow for that time to figure out where those pain points are. You know, you hire at pain points. And now I see that.
Yeah.
But I started out and I'm not getting clients, and now I've got overhead.
Yeah.
And I've got people with families that they need to support on an income, and they're looking to me to be that income.
Yeah.
So I'm having them work on stuff for me, but there's no income coming in. So I just see the number going down.
Wow.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrifying. And so you're like, okay, well, I've got this team. I'm going to advertise the team, and I've got this powerhouse, and we're ready to rock. Come on, bring in the work. The work doesn't come. So it's like, okay, well, I got to work on my message. Oh crap, I should have done this first before I hired a soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I'm trying to backtrack before the business essentially crumbles on itself, because overhead eventually will capsize the business without having income coming in. And so that was a huge problem in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so I had to scale back 3 employees, and that, which is a story like Marley Jacks, who's a wonderful mentor of mine and just absolutely incredible. She told a story the other day about how she had to make some cutbacks to make sure that her business was healthy.
Yeah.
And it was very similar to myself. I had to make those cutbacks in order to do what I should have done in the beginning, which is know your market, find a problem, solve the problem, work on your messaging, get your messaging down, test your messaging, then make sure that you have fulfillment in place that can fill that. And that in that time period is all you. That's just you. And it has to be you.
Yeah.
And then when you hit pain points, when I say pain points, it means, man, I'm spending an awful lot of time on these redundant tasks of X, Y, Z. Okay, is that a hireable task? You know, you need to analyze it each time. Is this a hireable task, or is this something I can become more efficient at? And if I can become more efficient at, then I need to keep doing it until the business is healthy enough to be able to hire.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot more analysis than I gave it.
Wow.
And I didn't give it the proper respect it deserved.
Yeah.
And because of that, I paid for it. I had a really, really rough time at the beginning of COVID because people were, you know, protecting themselves and their assets. And they're saying, you know what, I'm going to hold on to this for a moment until I figure out what COVID's going to do.
Yeah.
And in that time, when all those budgets got constricted, that was when I just hired up. And so like, I'm finding myself in a position to where it's like, oh my God. And like I said, you just see the number dropping. And so once I scaled that back and I made some offers, I put together a better offer and I started offering it out there. I joined some masterminds and I started really getting involved with the experts on the show. And that made all the difference. Really, the show made the difference because those were deep-seated relationships based around a super weird thing.
Yeah.
So it's memorable, right?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
And so because of that, people wanted to reach out and help. And so they would be like, hey, listen, the show is incredible. Thank you so much for having me on. What can you do like this for me? How can I get this weirdness in my life? You know, that kind of stuff. And it starts conversations, which start referrals, which start jobs, which start all sorts of things. So it's an amazing organic lead gen for me working on the show because people get to know me, know what I'm passionate about, know what I'm good at, And if they so choose, they reach out.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they refer me.
Yeah.
Because of the experience I gave them.
That's so powerful.
And that was something I really downplayed at the beginning of the game show, was the experience that people were having on the show. I totally underestimated that. And it ended up being one of the things that has propelled me in my business.
Yeah, I love it. You know, I mean, and thank you so much for sharing those lessons, because I'm sure some people might find themselves in that situation, you know, whether debating to hire or not hire, and the picture that you painted, you know, is absolutely incredible. And I love the part of the show that you just dived into, right? I think it's a good segue right here to get into that. We were part of the show, and it was absolutely amazing. I mean, we had a blast. Although we got like all the questions wrong, we
Totally.
had so much so much fun.
We're like, we're two Hispanics who didn't grow up in the United States talking about pop culture of United States. This is so wrong. Like, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to like flop it. Like,
It's all about that confidence. You know, you had to answer and put the confidence behind
I'll
it.
slip in some trivia that I know you guys will be able to hit on. You know, the gaming. You guys are from Venezuela.
Yes,
There we go.
yes.
There we go.
Yeah, get some Venezuelan culture topics in there. I'll surprise you guys next time.
Woo, baby, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, that's awesome.
Challenge accepted.
You know what I'm the most curious about? Well, first of all, I think like you said, it's a great tool to build relationships, right? And I mean, kind of like removing the curtain from the show, like that is why we have the show too, is to establish those relationships, right?
Yeah.
And the first time I heard about your show, like my brother said, so I think it was like the night before, I was like, hey, you guys want to be in a game show next night? And I was like, a game show? It's like, what is that? Like in Facebook? It's like, wow, that is odd, right? And I mean, we checked it out. We didn't end up doing it then, but we kept hearing about it. And what surprised me, what caused me curiosity is like, wow, what a smart way to leverage your time, right? Because in here we're building a one-on-one relationship, obviously, which is amazing in a 1 hour span or so. But you in a 1 hour span or so are building like 12 relationships, and like very like deep relationships. Like you guys are cracking jokes, right? You guys are literally becoming friends. It's a party, guys. Just go watch the game, X's and O's game show.
We're gonna leave the link in the description everywhere, so go check it out. It's so fun.
It is a party. And also, if you want to be a contestant, send Jim a DM.
Absolutely.
Send me a message and we'll get you hooked up. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
that's the idea. We want to genuinely help people. If you're thinking about starting a business, you're in a 9-to-5, or you just started a business for the first time, or you've started your business for a while and it just hasn't hit yet.
Yeah.
You're our people. You're the people we want to serve. We want to help you, and we want to take your hand and get you there.
Yep. That's right. Because I mean, so the contestants, they get prizes from the experts that he brings around, and pretty much by participating, you get help to grow your business, which is absolutely amazing, right? Good. So you're building all these relationships, right? And the point that I wanted to come across after 30 minutes of me just blabbering around was...
editor, please, cut that out.
Was, you know, like, how do you get to that conclusion? Like, how do you know? What was it, that light bulb moment for you that was a game show is the way to go for me?
I had a lot of people in the beginning telling me I was an idiot for doing it because it wouldn't make any money. And no, the show does not make, by itself, it does not make me $1.
Yep.
There are affiliate opportunities there that we may take advantage of later, but for right now, it's just fun.
Yep.
And it's getting an attention spotlight on myself and these other entrepreneurs. And one of the coolest side parts that really made me feel like I was onto something was two things. One of the contestants contacted me back after probably about 2 weeks after the show and said, I made my first sale.
Wow, that's so awesome.
That's amazing. And like, right, exactly.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, what happened? Tell me all about it. So we got into this long conversation. They're like, I used the funnel that I got from here, and I got the offer from here, and I had a brainstorming session from here, and that helped me to make the email sequence.
Connected.
And then they bought on the second email of our sequence.
Oh,
That's
And I
so
was just like,
such a powerful thing. Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah. So
It's working.
Yeah,
It's
so-
working the way I wanted it to.
for those listening, I want to describe what this game show is because I don't feel like we haven't described it. We talked about how awesome it is, which is awesome. But like, so imagine, right? You're an expert, right? And you're together with like 8 others, right? So it's 9 experts on one side, and then we have 2 contestants that compete against each other on an X and O's game, like the name says. But each expert is donating either their time or a resource for the 2 contestants that are part of the audience, right? So those 2 contestants, they get a ton of stuff. And at least in the episode that we were at, even the person that didn't win got a ton of stuff too. So you
Yeah.
better be reaching
Yeah.
out to Jim because like those are tools and resources that you can get. And so these experts not only develop a relationship with you, Jim, but they also develop a relationship between each other. So, you know, there's some people here like Ron Cool that I see in the comments right here, or Andy that
Ron
tuned in
Cool,
earlier.
Yeah, I love him. And Pablo Gonzalez too. was awesome.
And Mr. Pablo, yes, the Pabro.
Pabro, we call
Great
him
guy.
Pabro.
Pabro.
Pablo.
Yes. So it's been awesome because between the experts, you also expand your network. So, you know, you're putting yourself in the middle of the networking group kind of relationship, awesome weirdness, different kind of show, which is amazing because people remember. So it's literally like a 5 wins in a row for everybody. Like if you're an expert, awesome. If you're a contestant, awesome. If you're Jim, obviously awesome. So super cool on that, right? And I wanted to take a little bit on what Fonzie was saying about relationships, right? When we first started the show, the first 20 episodes is us, and the main like goal back there was like, can we make this consistent? Like, can we stay consistent doing this show? And we started to find our voice. And then after, we're like, let's bring people, right? Because we really want to learn from them and expand our network.
Yeah. Shout out to Pabro. He was our first guest.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was awesome.
Absolutely. And then from there, it started to evolve and we started to add different pieces. But the whole picture is so amazing because you not only develop your voice, but you develop your audience, you develop relationships on the back end who potentially can be JVs or even clients sometimes. And then your network just like keeps growing and growing because we're actually serving not only the audience, but our guests, because with the audience, the guest wins. So it's like literally like the perfect storm on content. And I love, Jim, that you took a very different approach to the macro content or like the main piece of content, because obviously podcasting is amazing, is a great avenue. We've seen a lot of success doing it. A lot of people do, but it's very the same thing, right? So whenever you come to a platform like yours with the X and O's, it's like, wow, it's very attractive to that expert. It's very attractive to that contestant, right? And it's very different. It's memorable. Like you said, it's like that weirdness aspect.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if they have a great time, that's your ideal person. If they don't have a great time, that's fine. There's so many other opportunities out there. So it's a great filter for you. So I want to encourage the audience to kind of break down what we've been talking about and kind of figure out what your platform, how do you feel comfortable, and don't take.
I mean, do something that is fun, you know? Like you said,
like
Jim, like
enjoy the process.
people were saying that you know, they were saying bad stuff to you when you started because the show wasn't going to give
They
you.
were saying, you know, there's no money in this. I don't know why you're wasting your time.
Yeah, and you know, and I don't know how many times I've heard this, but it says the experts make the money in the back end too, right? And those relationships
Let's
are the
go.
back end.
Yes.
So probably those people
Absolutely.
that told you that, you know, not so good.
Not so bueno, not too bueno.
And you know, I absolutely love it, and I love especially the part of like make it fun, make it you, right? What you know, what tip would you give to the audience right now that are listening, right? Like, how can they go about finding an original idea? Because this is absolutely amazing, right? It kind of reminds me of that app that came out like last year, that they would do a show like every day at 9 p.m. and everybody would log in at the same time, and it was like a trivia. I don't know if you remember
that was
that game.
with
Jackbox?
It was like HQ, I think it was called
HQ Trivia.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah, that's the same.
They're not around anymore, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're around anymore. But that was so original, right?
Well, also Mr. Beast with his new.
Place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
exactly.
exactly. So now there's actually this famous YouTuber. His name is Mr. Beast, and I'm here derailing a little bit from the topic, but he actually created a similar app like that, right? So
an experience.
It is an experience around it, right? I think that's the key. It's an experience around the app.
Absolutely.
So when he did it, he's like, I'm giving away 25 grand or something, or 100 grand, a bunch of money, and people would have to go on their phones at the same time, everybody, and put their fingers on the screen, and then like little lights will light up, and they had to tap those lights. The person that would stay on for the longest will win the $25,000, right?
Absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant. He had thousands of people talking about it, right? Sharing, doing TikToks about it, Facebook, Instagram. You know, like the free PR that he got. Absolutely amazing.
That is so brilliant. I'm going to look that up after the show, actually. I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so my question is, what would you say to someone that is looking to create maybe a certain experience like that, right? What would be your recommendation?
I wanted to finish up the prior thing because I said it was twofold. So it was the contestant that told me, and then there was the expert that contacted me and said, dude, I want to let you know I just sold 20 grand. And it was to another one of the experts on the show. And they were like, I now can freely speak to these people I've never had relationships with before. I just never ran into them. And also, like, you could be on the show with a Marley Jacks, a James Smiley, an Akbar Sheik, an Alan Dean, like these huge names, and you could literally be a square away. Because we don't do like only big names. You know, you could literally come on a show and you could be on with one of your heroes.
Absolutely.
And I love that about it.
We were with you, Jim. You're one of our heroes. And we were one square away.
You guys are my heroes. I love having you guys on. I love that we broke it up into two squares, too, so you guys can give each other crap.
Competition. Let's go.
I knew that was going to be a good choice, too.
Yeah.
I need to make sure I separate them because it's going to be way more funny.
Yeah. Pablo here in the comments, he has been telling us for the longest time. He's like, you guys should start like a campaign, hashtag #PickABro, you know, so we go at each other and stuff. Yeah.
That is truly, truly brilliant. Yeah, you need to do that.
He's definitely gonna be. He's gonna win. Look at the beard, man.
Is it part of the beard, right, Jim? There we go.
That's the only.
I got love for the beard.
Hey, let's go.
You got a baby beard going.
A little bit, just a shade, you know.
Yeah, just
my wife says it's sexy.
For the danger boy kind of look, you know. I'm a bad boy. I have a motorcycle helmet and a leather jacket somewhere.
I know.
Awesome.
I once put a cowboy, like a trucker hat, and my wife is like, "You look like the Hispanic Luke Bryant." I'm like, "I'll take that. I'll run with that."
Oh, that's awesome.
Own it. Just own it.
I'll own it.
Absolutely.
So Jim,
again, that was huge. Is that the experts can combine together in unique ways too, and they get to talk with people freely. And go on each other's podcasts, and they form masterminds, and they get together, and I love that. I love that it's also forming its own network.
Yeah,
its own unique network of people that support each other, and like there's people that have been on the show that can now freely message like a Marley Jacks and just ask a quick question. Before, maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't have gotten through.
Yeah.
I mean, Marley Jacks is a bad example because she is awesome and she'll probably respond to just about everybody. But there are people that have been on the show to where they have bots and stuff in place to make sure that you don't light up their messenger inbox, and it's very hard to communicate with them any other way. And now after the show, you can just talk to them because, I mean, essentially you're friends.
Yeah, fantastic.
I love that. So cool.
Yeah.
But getting back to what you were saying after that, what was the other thing you got there?
Like what would be your your recommendation or tip for someone to embrace a creative idea of their own?
The experience.
Absolutely. What do you engage with? What do you love? What's your secret little like pleasure that you like to get into? Like I love games. I love puzzle games. I love adventure games and things like that. So that's where my mind went when I was like, I want to make something weird. And that's where my head went, was like, oh, a game show would look really weird in a timeline.
Yeah.
And I made it, and when I first made it, it was like, well, it's going to entertain me. So, if no one watches it, at least I had fun making it.
Yes,
absolutely.
And that's just being honest. Like, I was like, I'm just going to do this because I'm gonna. And that's where I say look first, is what do you engage with? What are the video games that you like? What are the shows that you like to watch?
Yeah.
That are fun.
Yeah.
That you carve time out of your day to watch.
Yeah.
Or to play or to engage with. Then you got to figure out the why. Why do I love that? Why do I engage with it? Once you get to that underlying thing, like if you love playing trivia games, as an example, then maybe you do an interview series where you line the interview series with trivia questions to make it more fun and engaging, and give it a different look in StreamYard that's well designed. I look to Twitch gamers for my inspiration because they have more fun than anyone else on the internet.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And they make beautiful, amazing things. Streamlabs OBS is a great place to start if you want to do things a little bit more complicated, but you can get by with StreamYard.
Yeah.
StreamYard does some incredible stuff, and it's very simple to use.
Yeah.
You can add overlays, a background look, and immediately, just by doing that, you immediately separate yourself from 90% of the internet.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love how you bring the Twitch example, because actually last night, right, we were watching this video on YouTube of Mr. Beast. They play Minecraft, right, and they record it and they create content and they put it on YouTube. Guess what? My brother and I, we've never played Minecraft before, ever. And I turned to my brother and I'm like, dude, have you noticed, like, how interesting is this? Like, we don't play Minecraft. We've never even tried it. And we enjoy so much these videos,
I don't even.
right?
I didn't even know what it was. I turned around. I was like, Fonzie, what's the goal of Minecraft? Like, what's the objective of the game? But we're here sitting watching a contest, and it's so engaging. And obviously, we also sit down and study these guys because they have massive audiences, right? So we try to sit down, like, what are the elements, right? What are the frameworks that they use, so we can bring it not only for our show but also for our clients, right? Things that we can help gain an edge, right? But at the same time, like, dude, like, we're really enjoying this.
Yeah, it's like so much fun, right?
And I have no idea how to even play I don't even, is this do they have PlayStation? No,
I think they play on computer. But
that's the point.
Yeah.
Because first
sorry,
and
Jim.
foremost, he's an entertainer.
Absolutely.
He's an entertainer. He gets what his market wants, and he gives it to him.
Yeah,
it's really that simple. He knows what the market wants, what it responds to in particular in regards to him when it comes to him. Because what works for someone else may not work for you. If you just try and copy and paste, it doesn't always translate. You have to have the personality behind that too. So you just see what your market responds to in regards to you. Because everyone's different. Yeah. So what they're asking for from you, give it to them.
Absolutely. I love that.
Just give it to them. And Mr. Beast does that better than so many people on the internet. Is he goes, what do you guys want to see? And he gets 400 comments. And they're like, we want to see you do these little Orbeez in your backyard and fill them up to your roof line. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
He goes and he buys 20 crates full of Orbeez and he fills his backyard. He gives them what they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to take that into perspective for the business people, right? Because they're like, oh, there's YouTubers, they can get away with all that. Absolutely. But you can also, if you have a small business, you can turn around to your current clients and you're like,
just saying we should fill up the office with Orbeez.
Definitely not. You're going to be cleaning that up. You are the one cleaning that up. Yeah.
And I guarantee that video would take off.
Absolutely. Poor Miss Barb. You're going to put that Miss Barb into, like, clean the office after that? No, definitely not.
I couldn't do that.
So, but yeah, for a business owner, like, oh yeah, they're entertainers, they can do that. But at the same time, it's the same principle, right? You can turn around, be like, okay, what is my audience? What is my clientele like asking for? Let's give it to them, right? And then let's give it to in a way that we actually enjoy executing. Because if you actually don't enjoy executing, it's gonna be a pain, right? And then probably the result won't come because you're not enjoying the process, right? So it's trying to figure out like that. And we have
it's like finding that intersection between what you enjoy doing and what your market wants. And honestly, like, I feel it's not even like finding that intersection. I feel like you can creatively include what your market wants inside of how you want to do things.
Here's an example. We once worked with Jason Olitsky. Shout out to Jason. Love the dude to that. Like, he's a dentist, right? He does like veneers and stuff, and he has a passion for photography. So he merged his content with like these amazing photo shoots that he loves doing, executing. That's his thing, right? And takes these beautiful girls and beautiful women and beautiful people into these amazing locations.
I hope your wife doesn't watch this episode, okay?
It's okay. I mean, she knows Jason. Whatever. Anyways, she doesn't see any of this, so I'm freely. I'll come back home today to a closed door, locked door.
Yeah. Couch for you.
Couch for me. It's so good. The couch is very comfortable. Anyway, so but that's his passion. That's how he tackles content, for example, right? And then he uses that he really enjoys and turns it into a marketing for his office, for his business. And then he fits it that way. So that's a perfect example how he adapted the way that he loves to create content into fitting his business, right? Because that's his clientele. That's the people that he's going after, right? So if you're listening right now, please figure out a way on how to create something that you truly enjoy. You know, we have Pablo here that is freaking amazing co-host of an amazing podcast for real estate, right? And they have fun with different guests. You know, we have you that have a freaking game show. I never thought about, like, I'm just so in shock because I never really truly saw this ever. I think it's the first time I see it, and we've seen a lot of content, right? And we truly enjoy the experience, and this is why, you know, you're here on the show sharing this with us. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example. Without the game show, I may not have met you guys.
Yeah, who knows?
I may not have. Or I may have met you in a different way, but not in the same degree or same capacity to where we're getting along so well and we can nerd out over all the stuff that we love.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe yes, maybe not. But
absolutely.
The game show made it a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
I want to give you an example. Like, let's say you do Facebook ads, right? And you want to get people interested in you and you want to be seen as the authority. I would love to see someone make a group, and to enter the group, you have to donate $2. And that $2 goes into a group ad that is run by the entire group. You go live and then have everyone join on, and they all make contributions. I'm doing the copy. I'm doing the targeting. I'm working on the audiences. I'm working on, you know, age demographics and things like that. And everyone pitches in money to go into the ad spend. And then every week you review, how did our ad do? That money gained or lost is the group's.
Yeah. Wow.
But whoever's the host is the one that gains the most authority. And so you're automatically seen as an expert, and you're now a facilitator. And now you can start vetting people and saying, listen, Johnny knows his ads. I'm going to recommend you to Johnny. So now Johnny has an incentive to pay that $2 because now you're recommending them out to other people that you get to know through your authority gaining of you having your group.
Yeah.
And it's cyclical. And I think that, I don't know why people haven't done it that. Maybe it's because they don't think of it that way, but it has entertainment value. It causes authority. They have to pay a little bit, so there's a little bit of more attention gathering. It's a group effort, so they feel like they have a say to go with their money. And if it fails or it doesn't, you can still learn something from it. And you do weekly lives talking about, well, where did we go wrong? What did we do right? This is my recommendations about what I think we should do next time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think something like that would be incredibly engaging.
Hold on.
Yeah. That's a gong moment.
That's a gong moment.
That goes around our marketing world.
Wow. Is this your secret plan to take over the world?
Just Michigan.
Perfect. We'll take Florida.
I think I can do it too because we're surrounded by lakes, so no one else can help.
That is so cool. You know, like you got
a fresh perspective. Yeah.
The CCO title, Chief Creative Officer, right here. Man, that was so epic. Honestly, like that idea has never even like passed through our minds. I can tell you for sure, right?
But it speaks to what you said, right? Because it says, okay, this is what my market wants. They want to know how to make an ad that truly sells. I want to see you make an ad that truly sells. Okay, well, how do I make that in a unique way that hasn't been done before that's also entertaining and engaging?
Yeah.
Okay, well, now you're part of the ad. If it fails, let's look at it. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And we do that together. So now you're forming community engagement and entertainment. So, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with that.
I love
Dude,
it.
that's so awesome.
So can I here take this is a golden takeaway, honestly, for people that are listening. You said, how can I make it engaging and entertaining, right? So something that we've read and heard lately, I would say, is gamify the experience, right? Having those
Absolutely.
those clear outcomes, but at the same time, like making it entertaining. And the fact that you just put it right there, I think is absolutely amazing. You know, I'm gonna be fully transparent here. Like, we've been thinking about doing something with 45 Live, right? Because it has been such a massive part of our story. And every time we share with people, and the people that have taken action with them, they've all seen results. So we're like, okay, how can we create something with this? And one of the thoughts was like, how can we gamify it? You know, we need to gamify this experience. You know, have like, can I, like, if you do a full week, if you manage to get all 7 days in a row, you get this little prize or something, right? Like, how can we make it enjoyable?
It's coming.
So thank you, man.
It's
That was,
coming.
yeah, that was
We're
absolutely,
doing
that was
something
awesome.
pretty cool with Angie Norris that I'm really excited about. We're doing a TikTok challenge.
Oh,
You
nice.
You ever seen Jimmy Fallon do his TikTok challenges?
No.
I've seen some of them. Some of them.
They're really fun. They're really funny.
I
share.
deleted TikTok because that was like a
black hole.
yeah,
The
that was
black
a
hole.
black hole.
Time suck.
Yeah,
It's a time suck.
I would go in there and then I was like, oh, 5 minutes, and then I would look up and I was like, what? It's like 3 days later.
So
like,
Jim,
what just happened?
fun fact: we tracked production right on our team. Like, there's different phases and different like loads that we track every single day. We can tell when Fonzie uninstalled TikTok from his phone. We see it on the data, like it's there. So we turn around as a team and we're like, Fonzie, thank you so much.
When Instagram came up with Reels, I was like, no, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, because you cannot uninstall that one.
Yeah, not again. I was like,
Not
no.
again.
Yeah.
No.
I once like uninstalled all the social media apps from my phone. I literally just had like text messages. I deleted email, everything. I was like, I don't need this on my phone. Like, I'm gonna use it on the computer when I'm at work, and then I want the freedom.
Yeah.
I needed to disconnect. And my brother's like, dude, you work with social media. Like, you need it.
We need it.
Effectively, a few days later, I was like, I had all the apps back on my phone.
Yeah. I want to highlight something that you've mentioned a couple times, Jim. Maybe not specifically, but you keep referring to different types of shows. You keep referring to Twitch. You found inspiration from other markets, other types of content.
Always.
It's amazing because sometimes we can get so focused. Fonzie, your alarm again.
Yeah.
Oh man, come on. It's all good. It's all good. It's off. All right,
It got
sweet.
fixed. There you
It
go.
got fixed. For those listening, guys, today we had a little technical issue and we went back to the phone, and part of the process. It's all good. But sometimes we get so wrapped up in the same type of content that we have in our own industry, right? And we forget that there's a lot of stuff out there in the world that we can grab inspiration from and make it different, right? How do you position yourself as somebody different, something different where that itself will attract a lot of eyes, a lot of engagement, a lot of relationships? And that's exactly what you've done and what you mentioned many, many times here on the show. So please, if you're listening, if you're watching, which you are, awesome, start looking at different industries. Jim looks at a lot of gamers. We see a lot of gamers. On our side, it's like, how can we make this show a little bit, how can we elevate it, right? Every single day, we're asking that question. How can we make it a little bit different from anything that's out there? So I encourage everybody, homework today, go find a different show, a talk show, gamers, YouTubers, and then grab an element of that and include it in your own stuff.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. I think that is an excellent piece of advice. And I was going to say, as far as like gamifying it, there's so many ways that you can make it engaging for your audience. I take my guests and they present a prize. I don't pay for that prize. I facilitate that prize in a way that makes it flashy and fun and engaging to where you feel like you've earned that prize, which maybe in my hopes is that you'll actually use it.
Of course.
Because one thing I saw when COVID started is there was so much generosity from entrepreneurs. People were just giving stuff away. like 95% off to help out people from COVID and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh my God, people are just going to stack this up and never watch it, ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, what would happen if they could earn it? Maybe then it would mean more.
Yeah.
And they would actually get into it.
Yeah.
That was kind of where that part of it came from.
Yeah. I like that point, you know, because we've been guilty of that. We've been guilty of buying some courses and leaving them in the shelf, right? How I think Jim Quick, he uses this term with books that they are shelf help, right? Like they just stay in the shelf right there and they don't do anything. But what you're saying, like if you have to earn it, right? There's like, I guess this exchange of, you know, kind of like your energy behind it, that you had to work for it in a certain way to get these prices. You put some time into it. Yeah, exactly. And it came with the experience.
Absolutely.
They're going to probably appreciate it even more. So great idea.
Dude, James, it has been awesome. We have 2 last questions for you as we wrap up the show. I need to go back and re-listen to this thing. It's just like,
this was absolutely amazing, man.
Baby.
Thank you so much.
By fire.
So,
absolutely. So what is, we've talked about a lot of action points, but what is something really quick, really like something that people can execute today to make their experience, their show, their content a little bit better, right? Or a little bit different from anybody else?
Yeah, no problem. StreamYard Ecamm Live. I believe you guys utilize Ecamm Live on occasion. You may even be on it now. I'm not positive.
We are. We are.
But you are. And what that allows you to do is to give in live comments. And it allows you to change some of the color and the layout. And you can do a really just quick and dirty layout in neighborhood of an hour. And you can use even like Canva to output assets. Canva's free.
Yep.
And you immediately separate yourself from the pack. You know, like you guys have your logos, your circle logos for your name when it pops up being very bright, vibrant colors. And you better believe that when you're scrolling, those stand out.
Yeah.
I noticed that right away. I was like, that's really cool.
I gotta give a shout out to Seth Godin, because that's where we got the idea from. Actually, one day I was looking at him and I was like, dude, like it just pops out.
Ron Cole and Corey Carter started doing it
yeah,
theirs stands
blue
out
and red.
big time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just looking in the comments. They immediately stand out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you know, it's stuff like that to where it's just a little bit different. It's the same but different. So just tweaking that, like having a colored background or a nice grade or like a cityscape, like Alan Dean uses a cityscape for his background.
Yeah.
And then you just turn on the green screen option in there to where it makes your background a different thing. Just that.
Good to go.
Just that alone, nice and easy, will separate you from the group. It's where when you're scrolling in a timeline, that's going to be a scroll stopper.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Maybe that's the first time someone sees your content, and maybe that's the first entry into your world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of this video I watched a long time ago about with Billie Jean. Billie Jean is marketing, and he said like there's 3 ways.
One of my mentors as well.
Really, that's awesome. I love his content, honestly.
Yeah.
And he was like, there's 3 ways to get people attention, like music, environment, or props. Like super easy ways to get people attention, right? So if you can include those in your content, it's a win, right? I mean, that's honestly, that's why we have music at the beginning before we start the show, right? And we sing and we do
during
stuff.
the show.
During the show. Yeah, now,
so much fun.
now we got these little prop thingies, right? Which they look like us.
Billie Jean is one of the greatest attention grabbers ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The video that he did, all of his videos really, but one in particular that he did where he pitted students of marketing against his team to make an ad for an ad spec for a new client, and whoever won got the client.
Yes.
Oh,
And so it was a bunch of different students and his team, and the entire time, so the students are just putting together the pitch. His team already had the ad live by the end of their pitches.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, we've already got leads.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And
yep.
then all these marketing students were like, "Oh my god,
What am I doing?
like we're out of business."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that moment, that very moment, Billie Jean had everyone in the audience.
Yep. Yep.
That
I
very moment.
saw that video too. It was incredible. It's like, and again, it's like something different, right? You're creating an ad on a different way. How can we spin it? And it's awesome. I wanna slide a question into the last ones, right? I noticed that you have a little bit of a different backdrop today. What's the story? How did that come to be? Which is, by the way, amazing. And you told us like it was a cool story, so we're like, leave it to the show, leave it for the show.
It's so soft. First off, I cut it off. So what happened is I got pranked on my episode 18 by my experts, and I am not used to being pranked, and I fell for it all the way. And essentially, there's something that happens during the show on occasion to where people's cameras will turn on or off, and it reorganizes Zoom, and then the show looks crazy for a minute. And I've gotten very fast at fixing it, so I'm used to just like, as a reflex, fixing it. All of them dropped off. Every one of them. And then they're all in the chat going, "What's wrong with the show? What happened, Jim? Well, how can we get back in? I think it's your internet. Your internet's broken." And my girlfriend's upstairs, and she's like, "There's no internet in the house. Nothing's working." The kids are in on it too. Kids go, "Oh, my tablet's not working." And I'm like, "Oh my God, Beautiful. What is happening? Everything's melting down." And then she comes down with these 2 big boxes. It turns out they were all in on it.
Wow.
All the experts.
Wow.
And then they're like, "Join this other call. Join the call that Heather just sent you." And Heather Murphy is someone that helps me out with the show. She's tremendous. Evergreen Entrepreneur is her program. She is just absolutely incredible. I can't recommend her enough to help you out with branding and putting your shows together and putting together your groups and group management. But so she kept telling me, "Join this other call, join this other call." And I'm like, "No, I'm trying to fix the show. What's wrong with you guys?" Like, I still didn't get it.
Yeah.
I was still trying to fix the damn show.
It was game time.
It was game time, and that's where my head was at. So finally, my girlfriend was like, "No, seriously, just stop. Join this call instead." So I get on, there's 20 some people in a Zoom call, and I'm overwhelmed, and it's all these old experts. And they're like, "Tonight's show's about you, Jim. And we just wanted to thank you for doing this show and for being so generous with your time." And it's just like, they made me cry, and it was like this big thing. And it turns out in the box was this.
Wow.
In a stand.
Oh,
And
man.
they had all pulled together and gotten me this amazing and so wonderfully touchable banner.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Dude, like, this was just like a movie, you know? Like,
I got chills.
I got like watery eyes,
Yes.
man. It was so sweet, man.
And so it was absolutely incredible. And just those people they mean so much to me. The other thing about publishing is, and in my particular case with the game show, is the people that come on the show, we end up becoming kind of like a family.
Yes.
And that was not something that I saw coming ahead of time. And it's the best way I can describe it, is a chosen family.
Dude.
And they did one of the nicest things that anyone's ever done for me that night, and I will never, ever forget it. It was absolutely incredible, and it would have never happened if I hadn't taken action and made my goofy, weird show.
That's so amazing.
Goofy,
man.
weird, and awesome
And
show.
awesome. I gotta maybe text Andy and Tony and Mike why we didn't get this text to be part of the whole unveiling thing.
Dude, yeah, it's okay.
I'm gonna get them.
I enjoyed this story, man. It's absolutely
it's
amazing.
It's awesome.
And like you said, it's like a chosen family now.
Yeah.
That just speaks on the importance of like these relationships that you're building, right? And it just speaks in, you know, all these people that says like, "Oh, you're crazy for having this game show. Like, it's not gonna give you any money, whatever." Look, like, money honestly is like secondary here, I think, because
It comes.
the relationships that you've built Absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much.
Sweet, man. Thank you for sharing that story. I'm glad that we were able to ask you. We almost forgot to ask you that question. We're like, oh no, we have to talk about this.
It's so freaking cool. Like all these logos I've worked on, all these projects I've worked on, and now the talk to the beard.
I love that talk to the beard.
I love it.
Freaking love it.
It's so cool. The only problem is that it's 8 feet by 8 feet, and my ceiling's not tall enough. And my original setup is like, I'm in like a little space. I have to rearrange the entire basement to make this thing happen.
It's so good. So that's a good problem to have.
That's what it is for now, but you'll get a better look at it soon.
Sweet. Awesome. Can't wait. Share the link with us, and so the audience can join in and see the whole thing. Dude, probably the most important question that we have on the show to the very end. Jim, where will you be if you did not start publishing?
I would be still making cars look pretty for other people, for them to take credit for.
Yeah, that's dude. The music went out at the perfect moment too.
That's perfect timing.
Yeah, I was like silence and did a boom.
Period. I wouldn't know any of the people I know right now. I would have never gotten anything like this. I would have never had that moment that they gave me. I would never have that every weekend, that moment I get to have when someone is like, oh my God, thank you, this is amazing. Or when these experts approach me and they say, I made connections that I've been working on for years, and now I have this connection, or I've made a sale, or any number of things that have happened to where people are moved emotionally, financially, any number of ways, and none of this would have happened. I would still be working that same job because it was comfortable and because it supported my family.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Ooh, baby. So much fire. Guys, thank you so much, Jim. Absolutely honored that to have you on the show, man. Like this was truly an awesome show. I mean it. And people are like, you guys always say that, but it's like, it's true. We always enjoy it. It's so good. And the audience has loved it. We've been receiving a lot of messages all over the place. So I truly hope that this episode can mean a lot to a lot of people, and they can truly connect with you, and they can come as contestants or as experts. So if you're listening right now and you want to be part of that amazing game show, we will probably be part of that more than one time for sure. Text him, reach out to him.
Soon. We're getting jackets for our 5-time experts, like on Saturday Night Live.
That's so cool.
Oh man, now I want that. Okay,
that's
Jim,
epic.
book us for the next 4 so we can get that. For that night. I know my wife is like, "What are you doing Saturday nights?" I'm like, "I'm on a game show."
On a game show, baby. Yeah. If you want to see me, you gotta tune in.
You gotta tune in. Actually, be a contestant so we can win all this stuff.
We've had several experts say, "Man, I wish I was a contestant."
I know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so good.
So, Jim, where can people find you and connect with you?
Absolutely, you can message me personally. I'm always happy to help, answer any questions. Give any kind of value I can. Check me out on the X&O Game Show Facebook page. And also we have a new group starting called the Omnipresent Army. And that's a group where we go in and we go live twice a week and we talk about just different ways to simplify content. And I'm really excited about that one in particular. It's going to be a really great group, and I would be honored if I could have you guys come in there and tell the group a little bit about what you guys do and how they can simplify content a little bit more.
Absolutely, man.
We love it.
That's a topic dear to our heart.
Yes.
For us, it meant everything. It was like skyrocketed the business with the minimum viable content. So we're honored to receive that invitation, and we accept. We obviously accept.
We accept. So guys,
we have to come up with capes.
Listen, we need. Yeah. Oh yes, let's come up with capes. Let's do it. All 3 of us, man. We'll send you a cape. Let's all do it.
Yeah,
that's gonna be amazing. So guys, for the ones that are listening or watching on Facebook Live right now, don't forget, go check Jim out. Send him a message. Go watch the X&O games or be a participant, even better. Also join his Facebook group, Omnipresence Army, right?
Yes. All the links are going to be right down at the description. So scroll down just a little tiny bit and you're going to see everything in there.
Yeah. Don't click him. Smash him.
Smash him. Yeah. I'm not responsible if your phone falls to the floor and breaks. Okay. Jim, don't leave. We got to say bye to the Facebook audience. But first, with that, thank you so much, guys, for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Don't forget, smash subscribe to the Content is Profit show and follow us on social media at BizRosCo.
That is right, guys. And if you find this episode impactful, which I am sure you did because it was absolutely amazing, don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.